In this video, I'm following through with what's happened to the Sycamore gap tree on Hadrian's Wall and the court case which has followed. Join me. Roll titles. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy with you once again. And you may remember just short of a year ago, last September it was, and I've got to keep on looking at dates and things on my list because there's so much information here. On the 23rd of September last year, I did a video where I was appalled about the fact that the wonderful Sycamore gap tree on Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland had been maliciously felled down overnight. A tree which had been there for over 300 years, on a wall which has been there for 1900 years, and as a World Heritage Site. I was appalled by it, and I got an awful lot of views on that, and there's been a lot of people following up and wanting to know what the state of play is. Now, around about that time, I mean, if you remember, there was a 67 or 69-year-old guy, I can't remember what it was properly, 69-year-old guy and a 16-year-old who was unnamed, who were accused, or at least arrested under suspicion of being the perpetrators. They were released without charge, and in fact, while they were in custody, the police went out and arrested 2 further people. The guy I'm on about actually was a guy called Walter Rennick from Planky Mill, and he was accused because of the fact that he'd had a little bit of a run-in with his landlords and been evicted very recently, and he only lived about 8 miles away from there. And people put 2 and 2 together with that motive, but they were totally innocent, so they've been taken out the thing altogether. However, I thought what I'll do is I've been looking into this because I'll be curious myself as to what's been going on. Now, the tree has been cut down and it's been forensically checked over and all sorts of things. And if you visit Sycamore Gap today, you'll find that you've still got the wall there. There was a small amount of damage, but not a great deal. And I believe that's been rectified. But the stump of the tree is still there with a sort of wooden fence around it. But on June the 12th this year, there was another hearing at court for the 2 people who were arrested. And I'm going to give you the details on that. Now, before I go further forward, these people are the people who are accused of it, not found guilty of it, so we don't know if they did it or not, and I'm not here to cause any sort of supposition on their guilt or innocence. That's not my place here, and that would be against everything which I stand for insofar as how the court proceedings work. So this is literally what I found out from the public domain as reportable evidence, and there's a small amount on this. However, 2 people have been charged and appeared in court. Daniel Graham, 38, from Grinsdale, just outside Carlisle in Cumbria, which is behind me that way, the tree being that way a good few miles. Because at the minute I'm up at Hadrian's Wall at Banks. You may remember this is the place where I did my biggest viewed video, actually, about my 5 budget lenses from this very spot, looking backwards. It was an awful lot wet and rainier in that one when I had a big heavy black coat on. Today it's been quite nice. So Daniel Graham, 38, from Grinsdale and Carlisle, and also Adam Carruthers, 31, from Wigton, which is west of Carlisle again. Now, the tree was cut down, as I say, on the 20th of September 2023, and these people have already had an initial coming to court. Judge Joey Passfield, when it came to magistrates court, said that the case was too serious for a magistrates court to hear, and she's passed it up to the Crown Court, up the Newcastle Crown Court. And so on the 12th of June, there was a plea hearing, and only one of them turned up from that, but I'll go back into that in a few seconds. Now, the thing is that this is a complicated case because to try and get the evidence together, there's been all sorts of people coming in, and it's been reported as from the court publishings that this is a complicated case, taking an awful lot of expert witnesses, and they're going to be looking at all sorts of things. Botanical witnesses who are doing tree DNA, because of course trees have DNA in the same way as we do, to try and trace it. And that'll have been taken from sap, it'll have been taken from sawdust, and all sorts of things, and seeing if there's anything which can be traced to put these people as the perpetrators. Their homes and vehicles and IT will have all have been searched as well, or confiscated as where needed. But there are lots of other things coming into this, not just the DNA from the tree, but also cell site analysis. So whenever you take your mobile phone somewhere, it works on radio cells, and by triangulating those signals, you can find to a certain degree of accuracy, depending on how many cells there are and how close they are together. You can triangulate a point where that telephone call or a text message was made or received on the telephone, and it's incredibly accurate at times. Now, outside where Sycamore Gap was, it may not be as accurate as it could be in the middle of a city where you can get it down to almost parts of a metre. But it will give you a general area, and if it can be traced that certain people were in those areas, it builds up the evidence. Of course, you've also got ANPR, automatic number plate recognition cameras. So a lot around the UK, there's an awful lot of cameras which will actually record number plates as they go past and digitise what it sees as a picture into a database, and it will keep that as evidence. So there'll be automatic number plate recognition to see where vehicles have gone and which route they were on, which direction, and at what time. There's also image evidence being brought in as well, and also image enhancing evidence. Now that could be all sorts, and it was, it's been speculated it could be traffic cameras to see who's actually sitting in cars. It's also been speculated on one video that I saw recently that it could even be satellite evidence, because that night was particularly clear, and a full moon and clear from clouds. So it's interesting where you might get the evidence from on that. So as I say, initially, it was two people, named 16-year-old youth and Walter Rennick. They've been cleared. As far as I know, they've been released without charge. Doesn't necessarily mean cleared, but released without charge. Now, Daniel Graham, as I say, 38 years old, he's pleaded not guilty to the charges. Adam Carruthers has made no plea, and it looks like it could be a plea bargain, something like that. I don't know the details. As I say, please don't take this as gospel, and don't take this as any indications of guilt or evidence. I don't know these things. This is just what's in the public domain, but he made no plea. They're both facing two charges of criminal damage, one to the tree and one to the wall each. So that's two charges each, one to the tree, one to the wall each. Now, there are calculation methods as to work out values, because remember, the tree isn't just a tree. I got a lot of criticism in the comments last time saying it's only a tree, what's the matter? But it's a huge source of local income. It's something of a landmark, and it's one of those huge sources of local income which helps the economy of people around here. And there is a calculation method for that, and that's brought out the cost of the tree, the value of the tree, quoted in court at £622,191. Now, the damage to the wall has also came in, and that's been assessed as £1,144. So a considerable amount of money there. And as I say, this tree it's not just a tree. It's been somewhere where the local economy has thrived, especially since it was in the Robin Hood's Prince of Thieves film very much towards the beginning of it. And it's also been something where walkers who walk the Hadrian's Wall, the 84 miles between Wallsend and Bowness on Solway, where those see it as a very central point and something of an achievement reaching there. So it's got some significance. Also, there's people who've been married there, buried there. Well, not buried there, but they've had their ashes scattered there. All sorts of things. So it has quite a lot of significance to the local population. In fact, not just the local population worldwide. People come from all over the place to come to Hadrian's Wall, which is, as I say, part of it. If I move over, you can just see part of the wall there. The interesting thing is this, is because of the severity of the charge, solicitors have said it may be up to 10 years imprisonment for the perpetrators. So it's a very, very serious charge. Now, there was a plea hearing. Only one of them was, as I say, that was Daniel Graham, and I believe that the other person had been arrested and didn't turn up for the hearing in Newcastle Crown Court on the 12th of June. So there's a lot of interest on that. But the initial trial date has been set at the 3rd of December 2024. So about just under 6 months' time, and we'll see the trial. So as I say, we don't know what's happening with this. We know what's happening to the tree. The tree's been cleared away, and as I say, DNA tests are done on it. The good thing is there's been saplings taken from the tree. There's an awful lot of stuff going on in the tree on that. And hopefully what they're going to do is try and get parts of that original tree to at least regrow. It'll never be the same tree, but at least try and keep some of the heritage for that tree in that area for their future generations. Because make no mistake about it, in my opinion, this has been something which has robbed our future generations of something magical and something highly important. Now, I know other people said, well, there's lots of trees in the UK and we don't make a, why aren't you making a fuss about the ones that are pulling up in my village and things? Well, firstly, I don't know the ones that are being pulled up in your village, but secondly, this is one which is just pertinent to me, and I just feel that I want to report on this. It's only a tree. We've got a lot of other things going in the world, has been said. Yes, it is only a tree, but at the same time, if we don't have the beauty, we can't appreciate the facilities that we have either. There are lots of things going on, and obviously we've got wars, we've got all sorts of things. But at the same time, if we can't narrow ourselves down to a little bit of beauty in our own locality, or a little bit of beauty somewhere in the world which has been vandalised, which has been destroyed, then what sort of race are we, in my opinion? So that's it. That's my update, as I say, on the Hadrian's Wall Sycamore Gap tree. And as I find out more towards the end of the year, I'll probably do another video and just give you another update at that point. But from Hadrian's Wall here at Banks, keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your photography, and hopefully there'll be other wonderful trees that you can photograph yourselves as we go through time. Keep on taking your camera out, have fun with your photos. Bye-bye.